the Governor of West Bengal, the Honorable Minister for Education, West Bengal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the most distinguished guest at the convocation, Professor Jayant Narlikar, faculty, students, and all the parents who might have assembled at this convocation. It's a great privilege for me to come and be with you at this convocation because there is no other institution in India which has a finer history than this one. 110, possibly 90 years ago, the men who walked inside this campus are probably some of the most famous people in the history of science in India. I have been a scientist all my life, and they are the very names that we have worshipped when we have read about the history of science. Whether it was P.C. Rai, Jagdish Chandra Bose, Satyendranath Bose, Meghnad Saha. These are immortal names in Indian science. There are others who have walked in your college. They have been immortal names in the history of art, in the history of cinema, in the history of economics, in fact in the history of learning in this country. When we study the history of modern India, we study the Bengal Renaissance. And what we might ask 100 years later is, have we gone forward or have we gone backward? This is a question that must bother everyone who is connected with higher education in India. You are now the proud recipients of degrees from one of the finest institutions in our country. But what is it that we read every day in the newspapers? We read one Indian leader or the other bemoaning the fact that not a single university or institution in India is ranked among the best in the world. It is a question that I have faced for almost a decade as the director of India's most visible institution today in the area of science and engineering, that is the Indian Institute of Science. I have had no answer to this question when it has been posed to me by politicians, by the media, by public figures. I think it is a responsibility of everyone who is assembled in this hall to think about these questions. We might ask, what is it that preoccupies our country today? Our country primarily is preoccupied with only one subject, that is politics. There is no other subject that attracts attention. It is the subject which occupies center stage. Where is learning? We learn at convocations, we have exhortations. These exhortations tell students that they must respect their parents and they must respect their teachers. How much respect do university teachers get today? Very little from their surroundings, very little from their students. This is something I think that you should not forget. You must respect the institutions that you have studied and the teachers from whom you have learned your disciplines. I am particularly honored to be at this convocation because Professor Jayant Narlikar is here. Exactly 50 years ago, as a student in the Ferguson College in Pune, when I was doing my bachelor's degree, I stood on a windowsill to hear Professor Narlikar speaking inside a hall which was so crowded that the students could not enter. We were thrilled because the newspapers had carried reports of Professor Narlikar's return to India from Cambridge, where he had done remarkable work with the astronomer and astrophysicist Fred Hoyle. Those were days when scientists came to institutions and students went to listen to them. Today, there are not many institutions in India where I have gone where there is anybody who is ready to listen. Earlier this year, I gave the National Science Day lecture in the Jawaharlal Nehru University. That was on February 28, where we honor a discovery which was made right here in the city of Kolkata by C.V. Raman. That was the discovery of the Raman effect. But what was happening outside this Science Day lecture was that there was a demonstration. There was an agitation. And there were students now not interested in science, but students interested in scholarships. There are two English meanings to the word scholarship. We must bring back scholarship to our institutions. And that scholarship can be brought back only by those of you who are graduating today. Remember that the future belongs to you. The future does not belong to those who are on the dais. Wherever I have gone across the country, I can say this, that those of us who come and sit on the dais are usually figures from the past. There is not much of a future that you have. But those of you who sit in the halls in front in Convocation, those of you who are getting degrees, the future really belongs to you. What are the qualities that you must have to face this future? I will tell you that there are only two qualities that I would urge you to think about. One of them is resilience. Resilience is very, very important in life, because very often in life, failure is likely to be a more frequent companion than success. But you must be resilient enough to meet the challenges that you face. The other quality that you must have is imagination. You must imagine the future. You must imagine your future, the future of your surroundings, and you must make sure that you make this future happen. This will not happen with the kind of preoccupations which we have in our universities today. Finally, in concluding this brief address, I must thank the Vice Chancellor for inviting me to be at this convocation. I must thank you for listening to me. I must congratulate all the students who have received degrees and all the students who have been honored for their achievements. There are testing times ahead. You will find that the examinations that you face in life will be much more difficult than the examinations that you have passed in college. But I am sure that all of you will do wonderfully well, and that this institution, which has celebrated the achievements of generations of students before, will celebrate your achievements